Did you see it? The new interview with John Benson, copywriting extraordinaire, is live on my YouTube channel. John's really smart. And he's gotten so good at those few little tiny things that make all the difference. He's really focused in his lifestyle business on doing just a few things. And his results have been able to be measured in billions. Right? His copy and his processes have sold billions of dollars of product for his clients. And he's done pretty damn well with his own products, which we dive into. We go into one of his first products and how he bridged the gap from like the real world to the digital world. And wow, what a story it was. I had no idea. Learned some stuff, some scary stuff on his path. Turns out it wasn't just a easy walk in the park for him either. And I find that helpful to kind of like remind myself of the realness of the challenge of what we all are actually doing here. Because there's a lot of noise about how easy it is and passive it all is, but I don't know. Takes work. It's worth it. Lifestyle's pretty good. Over here on the homestead, we're having a hell of a week in our business. We're having one of our most profitable weeks ever. I think we've done 65 grand in the last 7 days or something like that from one shopping cart. Doesn't count any of the affiliate things I've got floating out and about. So, you know, the income can go. I think I used to make customer service rep. I think I was like 30 grand a year. So I did, I don't know, wifey and I did a couple of years of revenue in the last week. Why? Because we've been focusing on the things that John Benson and I talk about in our deep dive interview that's on YouTube. Right? It's playing a certain game that has certain potential outcomes. If you're playing the traffic and ads game and that's where you stop, you don't play the other games like the email list game and the making offers game. There's just a hard cap to how much cash flow you can make. It's okay. I just don't like having ceilings on my potential income, and I don't like perpetually having to push content out like it's my job. It's a lot of work. In the beginning, I'm cool with it. I had nothing better to do with my time, right? I was making $15 an hour getting yelled at on the phone as a customer support representative. Good Lord. I'm happy to write a blog post about how to this and how to that to build traffic that could eventually help me build a list, that could eventually help me build a business so I can fire my boss and move on. Now I've got a little more freedom and I don't have to do all that, but I'm doing this because I like this. So, point number one here on this beautiful Tuesday morning is to go watch the old interview on youtube.com/milesb. And it's a bright red thumbnail. Can't miss it. Go check it out. It's brilliant. You'll learn you something. You'll learn you at least 3 things. That I guarantee. And now, I got a question from Natalia on Twitter. It's about scaling funnels and hitting a plateau. So we're going to jump into that next. I like answering questions in this way. Can't answer them all, but when they're relevant to what I'm publishing about, can be kind of useful for me to have these kinds of prompts. So be sure to follow me at Miles Beckler and let me know what you're thinking. Give me the questions, give me the feedback. I do appreciate it. That's the place to do it. And Natalia's question is, she's stuck scaling her funnels beyond 3 to 5 grand, running Facebook only currently. And the question is it worth focusing on optimizing each of the 10 I have running, or rather, on simply launching more of them? First off, kudos, Natalia, taking action, publishing offers, putting people into that moment of, hey, are you ready to take this step forward in your life? Let me help you. Great. Get them on the list. Sell them stuff. Now, debugging a plateau in paid ads is not like a linear process. Okay, there's not like a checklist. So you just got to look and think and test around these ideas we're going to talk about and stay really focused on the data. So number one is focusing on the data, because you're saying that, is it worth focusing on optimizing each of the 10 you have running, or rather launching more? Well, I would want to analyze the 10 that are running, because the odds are is you're going to see something resembling the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. Might be 90-10. One or two of your campaigns are probably generating the bulk of your results. Go find what those are. And find the ones that are on the other side of the ratio that are creating terrible results and turn those ones off. Let's eliminate the waste. It is common for ads and campaigns to eventually run themselves out. The law of diminishing returns is real. So, question A is like, what worked? What was working that's no longer working? What worked really well? Start really focusing in on the data and figure out what's going right, because we want to try to do more of what's going right. Then I want to make sure that you have very, very, very clear systems and mechanics on the back end to sell more stuff to them. So if your ads are going to an opt-in, I'm analyzing that follow-up sequence. What are my open rates? What are my click-through rates? How much money am I making from this follow-up sequence? What products that I'm mentioning as an affiliate, if you are, then what ones are actually working? What ones aren't working? Again, data. I'm going into the data to see what's working. In theory, you're going to have at least one core thing working. You don't get to 3 grand or 5 grand ad spend if something's not working. So I want to build on what's working. Okay, so I want to look through everything and I'm going to be like, okay, this is like my best working pathway out of everything I've been doing. This opt-in page, this one-time offer, this follow-up sequence, this thing in the follow-up sequence. I try to eliminate some of the BS around that so I can kind of be a little bit more focused on what works. And from here, scaling can go in 2 directions. So option number 1 is fire up TikTok, port everything you're doing that worked in Facebook, and maybe even some of the things that didn't work in Facebook, over to TikTok and see if you get better results. Right? Can you go change media? Can you go reach an underserved audience on a different platform at a better value to create more leads and sales within your KPIs? And I would measure this very specifically. I would probably duplicate out the whole funnel, the whole thing. I know it's a pain in the ass, but I want perfect data on this, and you can't rely on their attribution. And I would measure it, and I would say, okay, my cost per lead from Facebook was this. My cost per lead from TikTok was that. My cost per customer acquisition from Facebook was this. My cost per customer acquisition from TikTok was that. And I've done this with Pinterest, with KDP Kindle ads, right? I Google text ads, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this is to help me get the confidence that I am actually focusing my attention where the best potential returns are. Okay. Now we can talk about creating more entrance points for your thing that works. This is kind of like the last step, more creative. So you've done all this analysis of what worked, you've potentially tested other platforms, and now you're pretty confident. This funnel, this opt-in, this follow-up sequence works best on Facebook. Perfect. The data tells you that, great. So now it's all about coming up with new hooks, new headlines, new entrance points into that same sales letter. So the core of a sales letter is going to walk a person on a journey. And the journey is from exploring this big idea. So I've got a sales letter template, for example. So the big idea on my sales letter template is that if you're not publishing sales letters, if you're not making offers, you're not making any money, because you have to have a sales letter to sell things. And if you're trying to sell stuff without a sales letter, the odds are your conversions are shit. So let's get you selling things with a sales letter. And I know it sounds hard to write a sales letter, but here, just use my template and it's easy. Okay, so that's the basic core pitch. But the headline and the lead, it's all the hook, right? So the hook is the big idea. So that first hook was, if you ain't got a proper sales page, you ain't making no sales. Therefore, get a proper sales page, make more sales. That's one hook. And that hook would have a headline that matches that idea. So the beginning of my sales letter rides on that, and then boom, we get into the offer, the guarantee, the testimony, all that stuff that has to also be on a sales letter. So you have a version of this right now running. That's what's creating your $3,000 to $5,000, or that's what's creating the sales from your ad spend on Facebook. So then how do you put a different hook on top of what you're already running? So in my example, it might be an analogy that, do you have a professional salesperson working 24/7, 365, selling your stuff while you're sleeping, playing, and enjoying life? Headline. That's a headline. But in the headline is this hook. And the hook is having an automated, competent salesperson. That's different than the previous hook. But most of the sales copy is the same damn thing, right? So I can go clone my page and just tweak enough to create a different entrance point. Another way I could go about this, let's just keep riding with the same sales letter product. What about sales letters for physical products? That's a different one. Sales letters for coaches and consultants. That's different. Sales letters for fill in the blank. Bingo. These are all different hooks. And they would need different headlines and potentially different bullets too. Again, so I'm taking this core offer that I have data that says it worked, at least for a period of time, or up to this point, and it's still working, it's just plateaued. Perfect. How do I get more entrance points? So ClickFunnels did this. Like, it's a funnel software. Yeah, okay, cool. And then it became sales funnel software for real estate agents, sales funnel software for network marketers, sales funnel software for service providers. Bingo. They're no longer this big generic thing. They sold, I don't know what they did, at least 8 figures. They might have made it to 9 figures. They might have made it to a $100 million business as a generic funnel company, funnel software. But the real scale for them came in optimizing those entrance points for all of the different customer segments and speaking directly to that, having a hook, having a headline, the bullets, the whole thing really polls to that same person. It's still the same product. It's still ClickFunnels. Like most of the sales copy is the same. Most of the copy blocks are the same. But when a network marketer is on social, flipping around, thinking, God, I should be prospecting, or I wish I could be pitching, or I wish my team was growing, and then they see an ad that says, hey, are you a network marketer who's struggling to have great people to talk to and enroll new distributors? They're like, oh shit, yes, that is me. Perfect. Then they click, and bingo, now they're going down a funnel. They're going down a pathway that is really, really, really tailored to them and the conversation they're having with them in their head, specific to their perceived needs. It's actually the same needs that the real estate agent has, that the supplement company has. They all need more leads and more customers. But when we use these specific hooks, super tailored to different audience segments, bada bing, bada boom. You can open up these new sources for traffic who they weren't hearing the dog whistle on the generic original ad campaign. But once that got more specific and more tailored to them, their needs, their goals, where they're at in their life, bingo, now their ears perked up. Now they're paying attention. Now they're reading your sales letter. Make sense? So this is just how I look at all of these components. I want to look back at what worked, try to get an idea of what worked, and then try to figure out what's the next closest, nearest little audience segment. What's a little tweak I can put on that? What's a little bit different hook and a different headline? And then can I run that, and would that work? And sometimes the hook can actually be a different opt-in for the same one-time offer, right? So my sales letter thing, let's say I have my sales letter template as the OTO, and then I create the 3 tricks for real estate agents to close more leads, the 3 tricks for plumbers to get more leads, the 3 tricks for, right? I go into each one of those separately, and the lead magnet is tailored to each of those different avatar segments. And then they all kind of sell the same thing on the back end. And I'm just making educated guesses about where I start based on my customer avatar research that I've done, right? So I'm just making educated guesses. I'm like, oh, inspired idea. Yeah, that sounds like that could work. I build it out. I test it. I run it. I look at the numbers. Did that work? No. All right, well, next. And then I do that dozens, if not hundreds of times. And sure enough, I have a big collection of offers, headlines, hooks that work consistently. And now sometimes we turn things off for a month or two, and then we turn it back on, and it works again, and then it stops working as well, and we turn it off and run other things that used to work. And that's how our business works on the paid side now. It started with us getting one offer working. And we did all of our testing on that first offer with our organic traffic that we drove from writing, 700, 800 blog posts at that time, 500 blog posts at that time. Right? Same thing with my YouTube channel, right? 600, 700 videos, right? So there's this bulk of work to build the traffic engine, because I didn't want to go spend money on ads. In the beginning, I didn't have the money to spend. I was $50,000 in student loan debt, right? I was broke customer support representative. So test, find one thing that works. You got one thing that works. Great. This works. How do I find more entrance points? And it's generally headlines and hooks. And guess what? It's exactly what John Benson and I dug into on the newest video that's on the Miles Beckler YouTube channel. So at this point, it's time to go learn how to pull these headlines and hooks out of your prospect's brain. Get you some X-ray vision. Because that is ultimately the best answer. Because if you ask them in surveys just don't work. I've done a lot of surveys. I'm just not buying it. People tell you what they think you want to hear. I don't want that. I want the real deal data. Like, did they pull out their credit card? Did they opt in and double opt in, or not single opt in? Did they opt in with a real email address? That's all that really matters to me. So definitely go check out the new video with John Benson on the Miles Beckler YouTube channel. Keep testing. Find that one hook, that one thing that draws in leads and customers, and then build on that. Then find another hook and another. And remember that many of the great businesses out there have very focused and small product lines that are extremely specifically tailored to certain audience segments. And then they can run lots of different ad campaigns, right? And you can end up maybe spending $3,000 a month on realtors profitable, and then you can spend $3,000 a month on network marketers profitably, and on and on. Not to mention that you might find out that TikTok's also able to carry its weight at $3,000 per month. Bada bing, bada boom. Now you have 4 separate things, right? 4 separate systems, all generating positive cash flow, spending ad money with a positive return on investment. That's how we scale. Sometimes we have to scale wide into other traffic sources. Write a Kindle book with big calls to action in your funnel in the Kindle book, and then go run KDP ads to the Kindle book. It's kind of difficult to do, but it's a great traffic source. You're going to get leads who are really interested in what you're talking about because they bought your freaking book. It's good positioning, but maybe that would take too long to put together. So you just port it all over to TikTok to see if you can put up some TikTok ads and see if they actually convert better. Convert better is not the right way of saying that. Maybe they generate a better ROI. Maybe they generate a better return on ad spend versus Facebook. Perfect. Hopefully, they both create positive return on ad spend. And there you're able to just double your budget right there and get twice as many leads and twice as many customers. And voila, you have scale. And always thinking about that back end of your business, right? Are you helping them go all the way down the journey and selling them all the little bits and pieces? Or are you just selling this one thing and then you're done? You stop talking to them. You don't email them anymore. Like, email all the time. Email 2, 3, 4 times a week. Keep helping them. Find more things that they're already buying through your customer avatar type research, right? Find more things that they're, more challenges that they're ranting about in public that they have to fix, and then go fix it for them and offer them that also. And that's the lifetime value side. So, duplicating what's working onto multiple platforms, testing lots of different headlines and hooks on your best performing platform first, right? Just for sanity purposes. Then rolling that out to the next headline and hook, next one. And then make sure that everybody who buys and everybody who engages and everybody who gets on your list, all of them are getting more useful content via email. They're getting more offers via email, whether it's your offers or affiliate offers, and increase that lifetime value of each one. And this is the game. And then when you measure it and you can actually track things all the way through the funnel, you could say, okay, so real estate agents do really well on TikTok. Network marketers do great on Facebook ads. Wow. And that's possibly how scaling ends up looking for you there. So just keep with it. Always remember the answers are in the data. And the big idea is lots of hooks, lots of headlines, lots of entrance points for what is working. And that's the best way to break through any sort of plateau that you're dealing with right now. And the best way to learn how to get those headlines and those hooks really dialed in effectively and pull them straight out of your best prospect's brain is to go to youtube.com/milesb and go watch that new video with John Benson and I. A little chat with one of the best in the game. And he showed up to deliver, and boy, did he ever deliver. You'll get it when you watch it. So go check that out. I'll put a link in the notes below. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'll be chatting with you here again soon. I'm going to go do some fun garden work and yard work here at the homestead today. So hope you're doing something fun. I'm done by about 7:30. I'll be done working by 8 o'clock today, this morning. So build a business that builds a lifestyle. That's the key. Catch up with you soon.